I spent years stuck. I was training hard in the gym, eating clean, eating high protein, yet seeing very minimalistic results in the gym. Basically no progress within my physique. And in all honesty, my nutrition habits were so faulty and so unreliable that when I started my bulk, I just got fat and ruined any aesthetic that I had within my physique. But what I learned from there allowed me to shred 40 pounds of fat while building muscle and achieve results far beyond what I even thought was possible in a 6-month period. It really unlocked that next level of physique, that next level of definition, that next level of aesthetics. So what I'm going to be teaching you here in this video isn't some random fad diet or keto diet that you're just going to quit in 2 weeks. This is the reliable, exact 3-phase system that I followed to achieve the results that I did. And it's exactly the steps that you need to take to achieve similar results. Now keep in mind, I didn't have discipline. I was unmotivated. I didn't have these systems and routines in my life in order to carry me and achieve these results in the long run. So this isn't just a diet. This is a process and this is a system of how you're going to unlock that next level of your physique within the next 6 months. So I'm going to walk you through the 3 stages, and then at the end there's going to be a bonus where I teach you exactly how I set up my calories and set up my nutrition in order to achieve peak energy and skin tearing pumps in the gym while still packing on muscle and shredding fat at the same time. This is so important so that you actually look your best and are able to be proud of the results that you've been able to achieve. But you got to make sure that you watch through all 3 phases of the video, otherwise it won't make sense. Now this first phase is what I call foundation fueling for your nutrition. Now this is exactly what it sounds like. It's the foundation. Now what is the foundation of our diet that's going to get us shredded and allow us to pack on muscle at the same time? It's protein. You cannot make the progress that you want to make within your physique if you aren't hitting your protein goals. So that's the first thing we need to focus on, and it's the first thing that I focused on in order to start skyrocketing my gains. You need to be eating 1 gram per pound of body weight, period. And you need to make sure to break that into exact meal structures that you can adhere to every single day. So for example, I weighed 220 pounds of fat. I was fat. So there's no need for me to be eating 220 grams of protein. I need to be eating 1 gram per pound of body weight towards my desired body weight, towards the body weight that I want to get to. And realistically, that was 180 pounds. But because I had so much fat to lose, I just put it at 200. As a safety net, I was eating 200 grams of protein every single day. So you want to take those 200 grams or however much protein you need to be eating every single day, and you need to ask yourself, how many meals can I realistically take down on a daily basis that works within my routine? For me, that answer was 4. 4 meals is exactly how I would break it down. So 200 divided by 4, I had to be eating 50 grams of protein for each and every single meal. This is the first thing that you need to lock down and figure out no matter what. Now 50 grams of protein might sound like a lot. It's really not. It's really not. That's like 4 eggs and some ground beef is what I would have every single morning. For lunch, I would have ground beef, veggies, and rice, and then also have a little Oikos yogurt on the side, which put me at like 50 or 60 grams of protein. For my pre-workout meal, I would make protein oats, which I would cook with egg whites and some protein powder in there, which put me at 50 grams of protein. And for my dinner, I would have another meat source, whether that being chicken, steak, ground beef, whatever I had access to, or if I was sick of eating meat for the day, I would go with a Greek yogurt bowl. Greek yogurt's an amazing protein source. Dairy, if you have a problem with dairy, it's not, but super reliable. It's in the fridge every single time. It takes me like 2 minutes to make. So 50 grams of protein 4 times a day would put me at my protein goal, guaranteed, no matter what. That's exactly what you need to do to get started on this transformation. Now the other little half within this stage is just get rid of fluff. Get rid of any fluff in your diet. What is fluff? It's exactly what it sounds like. It's shit that just doesn't need to be there. And you know exactly what that is. Now, when you're eating 1 gram per pound of body weight protein-wise, you're going to be satiated. You're going to feel super full. You're not going to be craving random things like chips and cookies and whatever you want to be eating on the side. So get rid of it. If you're serious about this and you actually want to achieve these results, put that shit down. You know that doesn't need to be there. Of course, you can have your rice, your potatoes, your oats, some carbs in your diet. But you don't need to be eating bullshit. So get rid of it. Get rid of the fluff. So now we're hitting our protein goal every single day, which allows us to recover from our workouts that we train so hard for, right? So now we're actually building the muscle, we're recovering, and we have a bit of a meal structure going that allows us to sustainably and efficiently hit our protein. What you need to pay attention to now is, what is the body weight scale doing? Is your body weight increasing, decreasing, staying the same? Be sure to track this throughout this stage so that you're able to efficiently and effectively transition into the second stage and keep making good progress. Now, the second stage is we're just going to be tweaking our 3, 4, 5, or maybe even 6 meals in order to align with the body weight that we want to get to. So assuming we're getting shredded and the scale hasn't really been moving, we need to reduce the calorie content of some of our meals. How can we do this while still keeping the protein in there no matter what? Because that's a non-negotiable. The first thing we can do is resort to leaner protein sources. Instead of having just 4 or 5 eggs to get your protein in, the yolk has a lot of fat in it. So you might resort to some egg whites instead to still keep that protein in there. Or for ground beef, instead of picking up 85% lean, you pick up 93% lean ground beef. Or instead of the pork you've been having, you start eating chicken breast instead because it's a leaner protein source. You're still getting your protein in. That's a non-negotiable. But you're able to reduce the overall calories. And the second thing we can do is start eliminating some carbs or fluff within our diet. Instead of having 2 or 3 pieces of toast for breakfast, you cut that down to just 1 or 2. Instead of having a cup and a half or 2 cups of rice for your lunch, you cut that down to maybe only a cup. So you basically take a look at all these meals you've been having to hit your protein goals and you say, how can I make them a little bit lower calorie? Now in this stage, because this stage is exactly where we're going to start shredding body fat and building muscle at the same time, it is in your favor to pick 2 or 3 of those meals that really align with your goals. Like really align and you enjoy them. So say it's a Greek yogurt bowl. You have your yogurt, you put protein powder in there, maybe some honey, some fruit on top, maybe even some protein granola or whatever you got to do to get that protein in. And you just love this meal. It's high volume, it's tasty, it's satiating, and you love it. Okay. Eat that every single day. Another example would be like a salad. Oh, I don't like salads. Yeah, you do. You like salads, okay? Salad with your favorite, I don't know, non-fat ranch dressing. That's perfect. 0 fat ranch dressing. Whatever protein source you have in there. Maybe a few croutons. Whatever your salad meal is, if you really enjoy to eat that every single day and it's low carb and it allows you to get your protein in, that's perfect. Have that every single day. Pick 2 or 3 of these meals and just slam them every single day because they're going to help you build a foundation and make sure you have a massive jump start on your protein and foods that you enjoy every single day. As we keep progressing, it's not going to be that enjoyable. You're going to have meals where you're just not satiated. You had your meal and you're like, shit, I'm still hungry. And that's okay. That's what we're going for. That's part of the process. But we need to be having some meals that we really do enjoy and that do satiate us to a certain extent. Pick those meals, eat them every single day, and take them to your gravestone. Like this is a part of you now. This is a must. My 100-gram protein breakfast that I would have during my bulk, it was a part of who I am. I'm not succeeding if I don't have my 100-gram protein breakfast. So make this a part of who you are right now. My salad is a part of who I am. I have to make this salad every single day because it gives me a massive jump start and it's so important for me to actually be reaching my goals. So 2 or 3 of these rep meals every single day that you're going to be eating. That still allows you to have 1 or 2 meals for a bit of flexibility where you're able to go out to dinner with family or whatever the case is and have a bit of variety. But this is your safety net and this is absolutely crucial. This is just a quick bonus I'm going to throw in there for you. I started supplementing vitamin D. I started making sure that I'm having B vitamins, which come from eggs, ground beef, red meat sources. And I started supplementing magnesium as well because that was something that's short in my diet. There also comes from some red meat sources, but supplementing it is smart and it also increases your recovery as you sleep. So just keep that in mind. You can start supplementing some things in your diet just to make it that much better. Moving on to stage 3. We're already seeing progress. We've been hitting our protein goal. We have our rep meals in place. We've been mastering those. We see progress within our physique, but we still might plateau. We still are going to hit roadblocks where it's like you're going through the motions, you're having the meals, but your progress stopped being as quick. You stopped shredding body fat. Whatever the case is, we need to ramp things up to the next level. We're going to tweak our meals again. It's just what you have to do. You have to keep progressing your diet in line with the physique that you're achieving. It's just a part of what it is. Now this time, you're actually going to run the numbers. Just track what you're currently eating. Track everything you've been currently eating. That's going to give you how much you've been eating. You haven't been losing weight eating that food, right? You plateaued. So from here, you're going to tweak those numbers and you're going to put yourself in another 200, 300, maybe even 400 calorie deficit so you can keep shredding fat, but The protein stays. That's a non-negotiable. The protein always stays. So now you have the numbers and you know exactly what you're hitting to hit your protein goal and to be in a calorie deficit to keep shredding fat. Now you need to stick to those exact numbers every single day / week. What does that mean? Hold on. So every day / week. We can have our calorie goal be on a daily basis. So say you need to be eating 2,200 calories. Okay, that's a bad number. 2,000. Say you need to be eating 2,000 calories every single day, and that's your target number. You can either do that, or you could say, I'm going to be eating 14,000 calories every single week. That's still the same calorie deficit. That's still the same goal, but now that bigger scope allows you to have a little bit more flexibility. If you know you want to go and have a steak night with the boys on Friday, and that's going to be a hefty amount of calories, well, guess what you could do? You could tweak it. Make that a higher calorie day. That's 2,500, maybe even 3,000 calories for that day. But you need to 14,000, subtract the 3K. Now you have 11,000 left to split among the other 6 days of the week. Keep running the numbers and hold yourself accountable. Now we're really getting into it. And you've stayed this far into the video, so I can understand that you're serious about this. But at this point, you might be saying, everything you said before this was pretty good. I could probably do that. But tracking my calories, bro, fuck. I'm not going to be doing all that. Hold on. Let me talk to you for a second. That's what I used to think too. I used to be completely against tracking anything. I was like, that's way too much. That's a massive restriction on my lifestyle, is what I said. That's where we need to change. That's exactly why you're in the shoes that you're in today. That's the mindset that we need to change. Tracking calories, tracking your workouts, tracking the little numbers and the tedious little things throughout your fitness journey, that's what makes the difference. And we need to view all this stuff as a tool and actual freedom instead of restriction. Because I used to think like, shit, man, like I can only eat these numbers. I have to track all my meals. This sucks. I'm not going to be able to go out and enjoy myself and live a pretty free lifestyle. First of all, you won't. If you want to achieve insane results, exceptional results, that literally means you are the exception. That literally means you're doing what most people aren't. That means you can't be going out and having cake and cookies and bullshit that's going to make you fat. You need to stay on top of this, first of all. The second thing you have to realize is that it's not restriction. It allows you to enjoy the foods you love while staying completely on track towards your physique goals. Because as long as you're within the scope of numbers, if you hit that protein goal every single day and you still have some calories to work with, that's when you can go out and have a little bit of crap. But it's not going to help you get to your goal, first of all, realize that. But if you really want to go out of your way to, satisfy your cravings, you know for a fact that you're still staying within your goals, within your nutrition goals, and that the progress is therefore going to be there on the other end. If you don't track these things and you ballpark and you listen to your metabolism and you listen to how hungry you are, you're cooked. You're never making progress because guess what? Our bodies don't want us to lose weight. If you go out there and you have your 4 meals and then you choose to slack and you end up having a few slices of pizza, that's it. There goes your calorie deficit. You're no longer going to lean out. Sure, you'll build the muscle. You're no longer going to burn the fat, which reveals so much definition within the muscle and makes you look that much better. It's such a delicate game. And without tracking, we're never going to be able to make the progress because our bodies don't want us to lose weight. Our bodies are not helping us with this at all. Your body doesn't want to be 10% body fat. Trust me, it doesn't. So when you're eating and you finish your meal, you're going to be like, fuck, I am hungry. I want more food. Because your body realizes that if you don't have more food, guess what? You're going to lose weight. Guess what we're trying to do? We're trying to lose weight, body fat. So don't listen to your body. We need to be going against our body. We need to be going with the numbers. We need to be going with what we're tracking, our meal structure, our protein structure. That's our base. That's what we're using here. Fuck what your body says. All right. I'm glad we got that out of the way. Now for the bonus. You've done all these things. You're literally on track. You're hitting your protein. You have your meal structure. You tweaked it. You know what your calories are. You're sticking to it. And trust me, by this point, you're seeing amazing progress within your physique. There's one thing though. There's one thing. When you get in the gym, when you're in a significant calorie deficit, you're going to start feeling like shit. Your pumps are going to be non-existent, right? You're doing your bicep curls, and because you're so lean, like sure, the veins are bulging at this point because you've made so much progress, but that pump only lasts 5-10 minutes. You have very low energy storage. You don't have a lot of glucose coasting through your bloodstream. So How can we fix this? I'm depleted. I look like shit. I have no energy. My lifts suck. Sure, I wake up looking like a demon at 10% body fat, but I don't want to feel like shit. I love the gym and I want to keep working out and I want to feel good. Here's what we're gonna do, because we can't go away from what we've been doing if we want to keep seeing results. Still need our protein, still need the calories. We just don't have a lot of room. So what are we gonna do? Our first meal of the day. Okay, I'm just gonna use my meal structure of 4 meals a day, and you can kind of scope this around your own. But 4 meals a day. My first meal of 50 grams of protein is going to be just protein and fat. So I'll have my 50 grams of protein from, say, eggs and ground beef, and then with that comes some fat. So I'm still satiated, but no carbs. Maybe a little bit of fruit. I'll have some berries, but no carbs. I'm not having toast. I'm not having cereal. I'm not having oats. I'm not having any of that bullshit. I am just having protein and fat. Okay? Time goes on. Time goes on. By noon, your stomach's just, it's roaring at you. It's saying, I'm fucking hungry. And you're like, all right. Well, we gotta eat. And assuming this is your pre-workout meal. Not everybody works out at 2 p.m. like I do. I understand that, but tweak this to your own schedule and your own routine. For your pre-workout meal, that's going to be an hour to 2 hours before you are hitting your first set in the gym. That's where 75% of your carbs are going to go. So say you have 200 grams of carbs to be working with right now on a daily basis. That's all you can be having. You're going to have 150 grams of those carbs for that pre-workout meal. For me, what's worked amazing is protein oats. I'll have my oats, cook it with milk for 1 minute and 30 seconds in the microwave, take it out, throw 100 grams of egg whites in there, put it back in for another 1:30 to 2 minutes. Then once it's out, put some protein powder in there, mix it up. That's still 50 grams of protein, directly aligning with my meal structure, but there's carbs. And then I'll add maybe a little bit of granola if I'm feeling spicy for some extra carbs. And then I'll do some maple syrup or honey in there for simple sugars. So I'm just loading this bowl up with basically 75% of all the carbs I'm going to be eating all day. I have that meal. I'm finally happy. My body's like, oh, thank you so much. I've been needing that. And that's when it can start digesting the carbohydrates for glucose. When you enter the gym and you start hitting your first few sets, holy fuck, brother. You're going to look in the mirror and you're going to be like, you're going to feel on top of the world. Well, if you're lean enough, you still might be a little bit creaky. Your joints might feel a little But the pump, it's going to be more intense and it's going to last so much longer. I'm going to put a picture on the screen. I would have these pumps where it doesn't even feel real, bro. It looks like I'm on fucking steroids or something because the muscle definition, I'm so lean at this point. When I'm able to give my body proper energy, it's just like, you know what I mean? It's awesome. So that's what you're going to do. Then once you're done with your workout and you get home, there's a bit of a protein window, not really, but have your other 50 grams of protein, assuming you're hitting 200 grams. And that's going to be your last 25%. We need to replenish our glucose and our glycogen just a little bit. Your other 50 grams of carbs that you had remaining, have it right then and there. Replenish for your last meal. Guess what you're going to do? You have no carbs left, fat and protein. Boom. That is your full day of eating to get ridiculously skin-tearing high-energy pumps in the gym. One more tip before I let you go is fast progress isn't always good progress, especially when we want to be building muscle and making muscle building progress while burning fat. It's not necessarily always smart to just tank your body weight, to just tank your calories, to achieve as fast as progress as possible. So although we should be in a calorie deficit for the majority of the time of our weight loss journey, of us shredding fat and getting lean, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be in a calorie deficit 24/7. Because that sucks. At one point, maybe 2 weeks, a few weeks, a month in, a few months in, you're just going to start driving yourself fucking bonkers. You're going to keep falling off if you don't have the discipline. You're going to feel like when you're in the right calorie deficit, you're actually going to feel like you could just chew your own fucking arm off. It's insane. It takes so much mental discipline. So something that you could do to help with this is do a bit of refeeds. Do a bit of back to maintenance kind of things. So an example of this would be you're in a calorie deficit for 5, 6, maybe even a week days, and then you'll do 2 or 3 refeed days where you're back at maintenance. So say your maintenance is 3,000 calories, and then you've been eating 2,250 to be in a 750 calorie deficit, which is pretty intense, but we need to account for the fact that we're going to be back at maintenance. So 750 calorie deficit for 6 or 7 days, then you're just waking up in the middle of the night, you're starving, your cravings are crazy. All right, it's time to give it a little slack. Back to maintenance, back to 3,000 calories a day. You're not going to gain weight because that's maintenance, but you're going to give your body a break. You're going to give it a breather. Your cravings are going to be plateaued. You're not going to feel like you're going to chew your arm off anymore. Your energy is going to be back. Your pumps are going to be insane because you're lean and you have carbs again. Then you slowly go back into the deficit. It's called a refeed. Do this as often as you need to. Understand that the more often you refeed and use this as an excuse to eat more food, you're just going to not make progress. But it's a good idea. It's something I'm implementing to get shredded for my show. And I think it's a fantastic idea to make it more sustainable and to see better progress overall. I hope you guys took a ton of value away from this video. If you want the full 3-phase system breakdown of exactly what I followed to achieve my transformation and achieve these ridiculous results within 5.5 months, go ahead and watch this video. Other than that, goodbye.